Okay. I've got the Bloomberg article here for. It says Microsoft and Amazon. The initial one we were presenting was Microsoft specifically, but Amazon got lumped in here. Microsoft and Amazon together are going to be laying off 28,000 people. Microsoft was 10,000.
No introduction.
I don't know why the audio came on for that. Began cutting a total of 28,000 jobs. This is both companies combined. On Wednesday, in post-pandemic reckoning that has left almost no tech name unscathed. And I gotta stop here. I can't even finish this article. Like, you really think Microsoft and Amazon are, like, stretched for funding resources and are like, we gotta cut these jobs. We don't have money. Microsoft just spent Microsoft just spent $60 billion on Activision Blizzard. And they're gonna invest, like, I don't remember the number, a ridiculous sum, billions, into OpenAI. Which, for those of you that don't know OpenAI, like, ChatGPT is, like, one of the brands there. Really? Like,
yeah, no,
they're
just cutting costs. They're like, we don't really need these people. We'll just cut costs. And
it's
make
like
more money.
post-pandemic reckoning. Kiss my ass.
Yeah,
that's an excuse. You have the money to support the job. You just don't want to pay the cost of it anymore.
Any companies did well during the pandemic, it was tech companies because everyone was at home on their computers all the time, shopping online.
Yes.
You know, using all the virtual communication services, Skype, lol, mostly Zoom, but you know, Skype exists, lol.
Skype exists. Microsoft has Microsoft Teams now, and Microsoft Teams has gained traction. I think what happens is though Microsoft, like, something must happen with like certain companies. This is a side conversation, but I just want to point out, the number of companies that are like, we're gonna lock ourselves exclusively to one of these platforms, and if we get something from a different platform, our company doesn't allow it. Like, for example, I sent somebody a Google Drive link for work, and they're like, our company doesn't use Google Drive, so I have to use my personal email. I'm like, why? Who cares? Just like, it's just a Google Drive. Like, I'm trying to share something with you, and they're like, I gotta use my personal email because company X, I'm not gonna say their name, doesn't want to use. We can't use Google Drive. I'm like, oh fucking god. And there's some that are like, we don't use Zoom, we only use Teams. It blocks Zoom invites, or it blocks other invites, our company. And I'm like, holy fuck. Why? Why do I have a calendar with 3 different meeting video conference apps?
Yeah.
Like, this is what it pisses me off. I'm like, company, like, who the fuck? I'm a customer, I'm a client. Please just let me use the service that I use. I'll use Teams, but like, why are you locking the other services? Yeah, Teams. Microsoft has Teams now. Teams was built through the pandemic.
Yeah.
It released and like my school used it. So we use Teams all the frickin' time throughout the pandemic.
The hospital that I was at in the UK used Teams.
They use Teams, right?
Well, I don't know about exclusively, but I never saw any time there was a virtual meeting. It was always Teams.
It's always Teams, yeah.
Exclusively, they use Teams.
That's what companies like use one thing exclusively because they want to force everybody to use the same thing. But like, they also like force all their freaking customers to use the same thing too, and it makes me annoyed.
Yeah, and they all have like Outlook. They all have Outlook emails as well.
You have Outlook emails because you're using all the Microsoft Suite products. Like, I just want to like find some stuff. Apparently Xbox was affected by this. Cuts extended to the video game division, where some people at Bethesda Game Studios, maker of upcoming Starfield, as well as 343, were affected. 343 got affected by the cuts.
I actually saw I forgot to post it, but I saw a news item as well that said that 343 is no longer going to be the main developer on Halo. They didn't say who the replacement was going to be, or at least I didn't read the article, so maybe it did in the article, but they said they were going to be like a support team for Halo now. They're not going to be the main developer on Halo anymore.
Oh, you got to find that. I want to read that.
Yeah, let me look.
Here's my first thought. Good. 343 is not it. They're not that guy. I wish the article would say Bungie's coming back so I can start shedding tears.
Do you wanna? I'll link it to you.
Yeah, link it. Yeah, link it, and then I will. You said Discord?
I just Discord, or I can put it in the chat.
No. I'm gonna grab it really fast. There, seamless. 343 will no longer make Halo games, but will oversee outside development. It's claimed that 343 will be taking a backseat to the development of future Halo games. Can you imagine Phil Spencer walked into 343, probably like Thursday or something, or Friday, with like a Hawaii t-shirt and some shorts? Said, hey guys, I gotta hit the beach real quick because I only work my half day today. You guys are not gonna be Halo developers anymore. Bye-bye now. Just left the room.
You guys fucked up enough times on Halo. You're out.
You're not it. We need somebody else to get in here with a little bit more expertise. I'll see y'all later. I'm gonna hit the beach. And he just leaves. And everybody at 343 is like, he just leaves.
Did that just happen?
That just happened. 343 will then take a parental role for Halo, oversee new games and content while working on maintaining the game's engine. This is an entirely new territory, as it has relied on outside help to develop Halo's Infinite's multiplayer content. But Bathrobe Spartan claims that the planned story-based DLC has been scrapped due to it being considered not cost-effective. Wait. Oh. They had like a cliffhanger at the end of the story in the campaign. And now we're just not getting that.
Sound like that company sounds like an absolute like shit show of man. Like they're I mean Bonnie left like I don't remember when, a while ago, sometime like the past year, but I don't remember exactly when. But it sounds like the top management of 343 is just horrible, basically.
Wait,
it's just a mess.
Here's another paragraph. A follow-up to Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite's working on a sequel already. Is expected to enter pre-production. Wow. They're actually dropping Halo Infinite now.
I mean, I think they realized that, like, Infinite, like, it kind of, like, they...
fell off.
It kind of flopped. Like, they had a chance, but they messed it up because the launch was so rough, and then they didn't get any content out. Like...
Wow. Wow. I mean, like... Can we just comment, like, the title is supposed to mean, like... My thought was this was just going to be a live service for the rest of the console's lifetime, like a Destiny kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I thought so too.
But they're like... Halo Infinite 2. Infinite plus 1.
I mean, I think they just want to hit the reset button on that one and try again, basically.
With a different developer. I like it. I like the move. Because I just don't think 343 is that guy. I just don't think they're that guy. I think they just it's proven time and time again that they can't launch something in a proper state. Like Master Chief Collection was a fucking mess.
Yeah, it took years and years to get Master Chief Collection to a reasonable state.
Right, and by the way, that game still has problems. Like Kuru and I, we couldn't play Halo 2. We couldn't. We crashed within like 10 minutes every time we played it. Like that's, I just don't think 343 is it. I think maybe definitely Microsoft's going to be a part of that because of all the contract working stuff we heard about. Like, Microsoft's not like free from blame, by the way. But yeah, like given the way, given everything, like I just don't think 343 is it. I think, yeah, I mean, doing a sequel makes sense because they're like, okay, we gotta get something new out because this is like, this isn't gonna come back. We gotta get something new out to try and revitalize the popularity again. I feel a little bit sad, just because the launch of Halo Infinite was so exciting.
The skeleton of Halo Infinite was good, but the problem is that's all it was. It was a skeleton. There was no meat on it, right. And there was no plan to put any meat on it quickly at all. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Interesting addition. Well, originally we were just talking about layoffs. Like Microsoft does layoffs.
Yeah.
Like, my only comment from that is like cutting costs in a highly profitable year. What a surprise. This is interesting though. This is very interesting, the 343 Industries one. So I'll let you. Sorry, if you had comments on the layoffs.
I don't have anything to say. I agree with you. They're just cutting costs. I'm sure they're making bank and they're making excuses for cutting workers.
Right.
But we've talked about it before. This is what companies do. They try and if they could not employ anything, if they could have no customers and no employees, that's
money.
the ideal.
That's
and make money. That's the ideal situation.
The ideal situation is no employees. No employees. Maybe there's some product. Whatever, limited to no customers, but just make money. Like, so if they're gonna if they can cut employees while still make tons of profits, they're gonna cut the employees. Like, yeah, that's just what they're gonna do, because no matter how nice Microsoft may make itself out to be at times, I mean, like, their de facto response to things are going to be, we're going to be pieces of shit because we need a little bit more money. We just need that little bit more.
Yep.
But the 343 thing is interesting. I'm keeping an eye on this one. Okay, well, interestingly enough, you'll notice at the top of this article a Forspoken ad. Well, this is a perfect segue, because Forspoken's system requirements, CPU. Let's just look at the minimum. I just want to look at the minimum. I don't even care about the highest level right now. Minimum. Intel Core i7-3770. Video card. NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1060. Memory. 16 gigabytes. That's minimum.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Display resolution 720 30 FPS. Yeah, 30 FPS, by the way. If you want all the minimum requirements, you're only playing at 30 FPS.
The minimum to me isn't that bad, with the exception of the RAM. The 16 gigabytes is kind of a lot, but like,
yeah,
the graphics card, that's like a 5-6-year-old card.
Yeah.
Like, the processors, those are not high-end processors. The minimum's not bad, but the recommended and the ultra are pretty low.
Yeah, the recommended. By the way, that recommended is 1440 30 FPS.
Yep, 1440 30.
24 gigabytes memory.
Like that, my computer, which I just got a year ago, meets. It's above the recommended in some categories, but the graphics card meets it.
Yeah.
And I have 32 gigs of RAM. Like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. I wasn't gonna play this game anyway, but I can't run
I didn't know. I actually thought it was a PS5 exclusive. I was surprised that it was actually even on PC. Like,
yeah, I can't run this game, by the way, unless it's minimum. But I'm not gonna get this game anyway. This game, to me, like, I know they mentioned that they toned down that dialogue stuff. It's weird. The dialogue completely turned me off from this video game. The dialogue was so bad. I was like, man, like,
yeah.
High on life, the dialogue, like, the bad jokes are bad, but for the most part, I was okay ignoring it. I can't ignore the dialogue in the trailer I saw. I know you can tone it down. They're like, we're going to add a setting to tone down the cringe, but I don't know. I can't. I just don't have any interest in this anyway. But still, like,
Yeah.
I think I can barely run the minimum.
I've got too much that I'm playing right now to be interested. Like, I was interested. The gameplay looked fun from the trailers, but there was a demo out, and I was watching some people play it, and they just, like, didn't seem that enthusiastic about it. I'm like, so I'm kind of waiting on reviews too and see what the reviews say about it, because I'm like, I don't know. Like, the trailers make it look cool, but, like, maybe it's just takes a while to get going, or maybe it's just, like, really complicated, and, you know, the sizzle reels just make it
so
show you all the coolest stuff. I don't know.
Like, the demo is your first impression, right? If your game demo is a poor first impression, why did you put that as the demo? Like, there are some games that are like, for example, like Octopath was like this, but I think there's other games recently where they're like, you can play the demo and it continues your progress when the game releases. So like you get through like a chapter, you can continue progress. I like that because it's like you get to dip your toe in, but also like it gives you some incentive to like, okay, I play the demo because I can get that like first hour in of the game and like I can just continue from there. It isn't always the first impression of like the coolest part of the game, but like,
but the game needs to have a good hook for that to work, which is why like Triangle Strategy, for example, which like is an excellent game in my opinion, the beginning is not the right thing to show off because after like there is just a slew of cutscenes after like chapter 1 or 2, I don't remember which one, but like right at the beginning of the game basically, and people were turned off of that game because of that. They're like, man, like I've been playing the game for like 2 to 3 hours and I've played one battle. It's like,
yeah, and that's why you don't demo that, because you're like, that's not the best first impression. But like your demo for some games needs to be your best first impression. In this case, in this game, if nobody's enthusiastic about the demo, why would they be enthusiastic about the release? So, I don't know, like, there are some games that do the, like, you can progress your story after the demo's complete. I like it. But, like, some games you just need to do, like, all the abilities are unlocked, have fun. Yeah.
That's what I think they should have done in this game. Like, just give me a vertical slice in the middle of the game where maybe you don't have everything, but you have a good selection of, like, cool stuff that you're going to be able to do.
And just go
because like the demo I saw, they had access to like 2 elements. It was like fire and I don't like water, or maybe it was lightning or wind, I don't remember. They had access to like 2 elements, and the spells were really basic. They were just like shooting little bolts of energy at them, and then the fire had like a slashing attack, and like that was it. It just looked like really freaking basic. I was like, yeah, I don't know about this doesn't look that great. Like,
yeah, that's not putting your best foot forward. I don't know who's making this game. I don't remember.
Square's publishing. I don't know what the developer is.
Yeah, Square. You gotta tell the dev to put the best foot forward. Like you gotta put your best foot forward. Have all the coolest shit used right away. Like your demo is your best foot forward. Give access to all the coolest stuff possible, and just let them have fun. Be like, yeah, because then they're gonna have an incentive to want to get to that point. They're gonna be like, oh, like. This point in the game was so cool, I want to get to that point. So yeah, but like these system requirements, that's ridiculous. These are ridiculous. Some part of me is like, why are game developers like suddenly like my game needs 200 gigabytes of space? So I'm just gonna be a hog of a game. I hope you have a 10 terabyte, SSD. Or sorry, SD.
Drive. Yeah, SSD.
Yeah.
The developer is a studio called Luminous Productions, and Forspoken is actually their debut game. Apparently, they worked on the Stadia version of FF15, but that was just a port. So, Forspoken's actually this is their first like original game.
Okay. So they're pretty green.
So we'll see. I mean, the trailers make the game look cool. At least the gameplay. Obviously, they had that one trailer that was just super cringe.
Yeah, it was horrible.
But yeah, I will definitely not play it immediately because there's too much right now. There's like I'm still playing Trails from Zero. Fire Emblem just came out. I'm gonna play that, and a lot of the reviews are saying the game's like 60 hours. So
which one? Fire Emblem?
Fire Emblem, yeah.
Yeah, I believe that. I do believe that.
Which is not quite as long as Three Houses. Three Houses is like 80 hours, but
but still it's a long game.
That's still long. That's still long for a Fire Emblem game. Like Fire Emblem, like in the the old days, I expect to be like, I don't know, 20 or 30, like 40 tops. Like Radiant Dawn was really long, and Radiant Dawn was 40 hours.
Yeah.
Like
moving to consoles like full time now, like Switch.
Yeah.
I mean, Radiant Dawn was on a console, but you know what I mean. Like moving to console means like we're gonna pump out more hours. I don't mind it.
But as long as it's fun the whole way through,
I
don't mind it either. It's just not what I expected from Fire Emblem in the past, I should say. I guess that's kind of a new standard. But anyways, so there's Fire Emblem, and then next month has Theater Rhythm, which I wouldn't play that much, but it's kind of a fun little side game. And then Octopath 2 comes out at the end of next month as well. and then Trails from Azure comes out in March. So I'm just kind of like slammed with RPGs right now. So I don't think I have time for Forspoken. But the game looks, I don't know.
Red flags.
Yeah, there's some red flags, but I'm just saying I want to see reviews.
Yep.
For sure, I want to see reviews first before I make any decisions.
Well,
about that
there
game.
will be reviews this week. There will be reviews.
Yeah,
there will be reviews.
The game comes out on Tuesday, so on January 24th.
You said this is a PlayStation exclusive, right?
It's a PlayStation console exclusive. I didn't know if it was on. It is obviously on PC because they have PC requirements. It's on PC. It's on PC as well. It is a PlayStation console exclusive, so it's not on Xbox and it's not on Switch.
And it's not a first-party game, so it's not under the stipulation of this needs to be like a 8.5 or greater, otherwise you're fired.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have no interest in this game though. The fact that you need a setting in your menu to turn down the dialogue is a massive red flag to me. If they're like, yeah, we're gonna have a setting to turn down some of that dialogue, like, doesn't that seem like a problem to you?
Turn off cringe.
Turn off cringe is in the menu. Don't you think you should be looking at your writing team and going, really?
Cringe on or cringe off?
Like, if you have to put in the menu, if you got to put in the menu, that's a problem. That's not a fix. That's still the problem. Anyway, Spoon, I can't believe you forgot the most exciting video game coming up in just around the corner.
Dead Space.
Yes. I'm not going to make you watch this whole video, but here's my summation of the video for Dead Space, the final preview. I want you to imagine a world where EA is hands-on every day with their developers, and you can see it in their games, and it's a pain in the ass, because you can tell EA just said, just make it as sloppy and fast as possible so we can profit as much as possible, cut our costs down. Okay, now I want you to imagine literally the opposite situation. Motor Studios took this game and said, we're not just going to remake it, we're going to do more than that. There's the zero-G environments. Let me see if I can jump to some of these. Like, you can obviously do what you do in Dead Space 2. They didn't just leave the environments the same. They completely revamped all the environments that are zero-G now. So, for example, there are sections where you are going to like a gun battery to turn on the guns. They completely changed that map.
Remember this part of the game, yeah.
They changed it. They completely changed it because you can do this now. So they completely changed that.
Yeah, because they changed the zero-G mechanics, so.
They've also changed, there's a section with the centrifuge where you have to fix the centrifuge. And you do jumping, so, like, it's a limited space. But now, like, the centrifuge, they showed it, has, like, this bottom to it. And it's like, it looks like it goes into space or something. Like, it's crazy. So, like, they did all this really cool update to the game to compensate for the fact that you can do that. Okay, so that's one thing. Thing number two, they've revamped every gun. Every gun is different now. So, for example, the Force gun, when you use the Force gun, the way that the zombies work, the necromorphs, is you peel away their skin and you can see bones and things like that. So the Force gun peels away all the flesh immediately. You drop it in a spot, all the flesh from the zombies near it gets peeled off, and they're easy to kill. You just bam. So, like, that's one example. The assault, the, like, machine gun that's, like, kind of like the military gun.
Yeah, what's it called? I think it's called, like, the pulse rifle.
Pulse rifle. Like, they changed the pulse rifle secondary fire. It lays like a mine, but it also can act like a grenade. It's like you can leave it as a trap, or you can just use it as a grenade now. Like a grenade launcher. The flamethrower now, like, does normal flamethrower, but also fires, like, a streak of focused flame on its alternative fire that's, like, a really hot, powerful weapon that can just... No, it's like a wall of fire. Sorry, it's a firewall. It creates a firewall. So things that walk through it just immediately are set on fire. Those are an example. All the guns got revamped. So they revamped every gun. Because...
Even the plasma cutter?
Well, the plasma cutter, I don't think they changed that much. Its secondary fire can, like, light things on fire. It just ignites them. But that's, like when you got up the The nodes, eventually you could get that,
Yeah.
but now they just said, yeah, the alternative fire on this just ignites them.
Wasn't the alternate fire just like change the orientation of the gun, like vertical to horizontal?
Correct.
The original one? Like...
Yes. So now they've changed that, so you can still do that, but you obviously can now do the igniting enemies. Really good job. Here's one more thing I like about the game. Last thing. See this? This is the circuit breaker. The circuit breaker means that in some situations, you have to divert power. So you take one section, maybe power is going to maintenance, and you divert power to, I don't know, medical. Okay, let's just pretend those are two situations. Okay, so you can divert power to different places. Now think of situations where there are 3 sources where you can take power to, and you only have 2 that you can actually give power. So you can either keep the lights on and divert power to the section to let it go, but if you do that, you sacrifice something. You sacrifice a source of power that you could have used to your benefit. I think there was like an example here where you like divert power, but you lose the opportunity to give power to life support. So if you turn the lights on and open up the section, you're on life support. So you're using your suit's air system.
Your oxygen.
Your oxygen. But you can use life support and turn the section on, but no lights. So you have to trade off. So you have trade-offs.
This is a new mechanic.
That's a brand new mechanic.
I don't remember this at all.
That is a brand new mechanic. You strategically divert power based on what you want to do for your encounter. Which is that's fabulous.
That's
idea.
Very interesting, and that's good for like replays, replays too. Like yeah, because you can change these, or maybe you do like a challenge run where you just turn them all off and you try and like beat the game with like none of this.
Right? Like a fabulous trade-off system to put into your survival horror game. The essence of survival horror is decision making, and this is like the perfect example of decision making power. And saying, okay, you have 2 options, X or Y. X gives you this, but you lose that. Y gives you that, but you lose this. Fabulous idea. Fabulous idea. Whoever is coming up with the ideas at Motive Studios, they need a raise. Give them an extra $5,000 so they can go to Hawaii for a weekend.
And then do Dead Space 2.
And then do Dead Space 2. This studio needs like everything I'm seeing from this game in this video. I encourage you to just watch it. It's like 8 minutes long. Everything I'm seeing from this game makes it look like probably the best survival horror game I've ever seen. It's like you get all the stuff of the original, plus the benefit of updating the visuals, with the addition of the fact that this is like not just a remake. You've completely remastered the game to take on more challenge, more decision making, better gun mechanics to make guns actually feel like you want to take certain guns, which improves replayability. So he's like, okay, well, I want to use the force gun in one playthrough, but now I want to use like the contact beam or the flamethrower. The Ripper's different, very slight modification on the Ripper. Apparently, like they were talking about, you can do trick shots with the Ripper, like you fire the blade and it just bounces all over the place. Everything to me is pointing to this game being Dead Space 1 on crack.
I mean, this looks like a studio that, like, they love the first game, and you can see how much they love Dead Space, and they just want to make Dead Space as, like, improve it as much as they can, and add new mechanics that, like, make it even better without compromising the feel of the original game. Like, this is what when you remake a game, this is what it should be. You should take the first game, make it look better, play better, and add more things that make the game better, but don't really change the game at all. So that you don't compromise the vision of the original project. But, like, this to me, at least from previews, looks like this is what every remake should be. And remaster is different. Remaster is just up-res the graphics and port. That's it. A remake, though, is like you're taking the first game, but you are rebuilding it
Yeah,
from
you're
the ground
rebuilding
up
it.
for a new for a new console. You are making it better. You are adding new things and just making a better experience from
Right.
the original game. And this, everything that you've explained in this, and I haven't watched the video, is like these people who are making this loved the first game and they're trying to make the best Dead Space that they
Right.
possibly can. Like,
there's some other story changes, not like significant changes that I've seen so far, but they introduced the Church of Unitology faster and more organically, apparently. In the other game, it's a little bit kind of rushed and difficult to piece together the church until near the end. So they seem to do a better job here. Like, we talked about Kendra before. Kendra's personality is different. Who knows if the ending of the game is different, but the ending of the game has, like, kind of a interesting spoiler for Kendra's plot arc, given what I'm seeing for her character right now. I'd be interested to see if they change the ending at all. That would be an interesting twist. I would like to see something change, maybe a little bit. Everything I've seen in here, though, looks like this game could be one of the best in the survival horror genre. Like, I know there are a lot of Resident Evil kind of people, and there's other survival horror kind of games. This one, to me, just like, there's nothing I've seen that really compares to the kind of enjoyment I could get from something like this multiple times through. To just play with different guns and all these, like, circuit breaker settings. So I'm now full on. I'm full on erect. And I'm like, when I saw this video, I was like, yeah, I'm in. This studio clearly needs to be on a second game. The studio clearly needs to make a second game. I can't imagine the second game with this kind of effort put into it. It just looks like everything I expected, but actually even more than I expected.
I mean, and you already love the first game, or the first two, both of the first two games.
I love them. This series needs some love. I was sad when Dead Space 3 was what it was, and I was sad when Visceral stopped making them. So I'm glad that this studio Motive is taking up the challenge and remake the second one. You've got my stamp of approval without even seeing the game. I mean, unless, like, the game, like, literally can't be played day one because of all, like, some kind of issue. But, like, I can't imagine it would be, like, an issue where you can't play it.
Because Origin Access doesn't
work. Origin. No, now you're gonna have to do, like, well, it'll be on Steam. I think it'll be on Steam. But, like, EA Play is laughably bad. EA Play is hysterically bad.
All of the publishers' launchers or clients are just, they're horrible.
They're so bad.
You Play, Origin, EA Play. The only one that is, like, fine is BattleNet's fine.
BattleNet's fine. BattleNet's fine. But they've been using that launcher for a really long time.
That's because BattleNet's existed forever.
It's existed for a long time. EA Play is like their new one that's not Origin. Like, if you try and, like, install an EA game through Game Pass, do you know what happens? If you install an EA game from Game Pass, if it finds Origin on your system, it deletes it.
It deletes Origin.
It deletes Origin and installs EA Play. I saw it happen. I had Origin, and EA Play came in, sat on Origin, and made it explode, and EA Play came in. And I'm not joking. I installed the game from Game Pass. That was an EA game. And it actually said deleting Origin. And I was like, I didn't tell you to delete Origin. What the fuck? I've never seen that before. It actually had a mind of its own, went in and said, there's Origin, fucked it, yeeted it into space.
Kill it.
And freaking just came in and replaced it. I've never seen that before. That was insane to me. I was like, wow. EA, what the hell are you cooking? What are you smoking over there? But anyway, I just want to say this game looks great. Game of the Year hat's getting thrown in. Zelda's gonna win, like, we know this. But I hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't.
It probably will.
I hope it doesn't. This game looks like really, really, really good. Makes me sad because, like, Zelda walks in, And I'm just gonna be like, oh man, but this game looks really good. Looks like EA Motive did a lot of work on this. They did a really good job on this. I feel so bad. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
not that Zelda doesn't do a good job, but man, I want this game to be thrown in there. This looks great. I'm interested to see the reviews. Dead Space 1 reviewed quite well. I don't think it was a 9. It was like an 8.5 from what I saw before kind of reviews. I'd be interested to see how this reviews. I'm going to go on a limb and say at least a 9. From I'm just going to guess that reviewers are going to give it a 9. If I see anything above a 9, I will be a little surprised. The game is not linear, by the way. This is not a linear game anymore. They changed it. It's not like a linear level style. You can go backwards. You can go back and forth. There's apparently some kind of security key access. As you progress through the game, you get higher levels of access, so you can go backwards and open up doors that you couldn't before.
So it's that's like Metroidvania. That's like Metroidvania style.
Their argument was they didn't want to see just a linear level by level system. They wanted to give an incentive to want to go back and re-explore areas because you have like new key access. So it becomes more of an actual open ship rather than just boxes.
I get that could be like the one big complaint about the first game is that like it's very like they talk about, hey, we're gonna go to like this sector and then this sector and then this sector and this sector, but like you always just like get on the tram and it just like takes you to the next level and like that's it, and it's hard to get a feel for like the actual like design of the ship and like where you are on the ship in relation to other places and stuff like that. So
this one they changed it. They're like they're and I think they understood that as a complaint. They're like, we want to make this seem like a ship, not just boxes. So good design change. I'm interested to see how that works with the security access. Maybe there's still power node doors, but maybe there's these also. Apparently, if you go back and do those, you can get like special stuff, like a power node door would give you. So again, like that makes sense, giving the player some ability to be like, oh, now that I have level 2, I should go back, explore a bit more. I mean, I'm assuming the monsters will maybe spawn in as well to some degree. But like it gives you an incentive to go backwards, and to actually explore the ship further. Makes sense. Not that you wouldn't before, but like you know what I mean. Okay, that's all I had for Dead Space from me. This game looks like a anybody who likes survival horror kind of games, anything close to that. Instant buy, chef's kiss.
I assume you're gonna be streaming the heck out of this when it comes out. Yeah.
Day one. You can bet the lights will be off. Lights will be off. Stream will be on. I'll have some nice beverages ready to go. I'll be pumped as hell. I'll probably shed a tear. The game looks so good. This is like when your favorite. This is like when Xenoblade comes out. Xenoblade 3 came out.
Yeah.
You just this is like my Xenoblade 3. It's exactly like it.
Or if someone took like, trying to think, what's like an old game that I really love. If someone did this to like, if they did a full remake of like Tales of Symphonia, that would be huge for me. Yeah. Like they keep remastering it, but they're not changing the game.
They're not changing the game.
Yeah. If they did a full remake of Tales, or if they did a full remake of like Fire Emblem, the GBA Fire Emblem games, basically like FE7 or 8. More 7 to me than 8, because 7 was the first one that I played. I would be like, oh my god, that's just like. And they did this kind of job, and they did an amazing job with it, like they're doing with this. Like,
unreal. It looks unreal. Like I'm blown away. I was blown away watching this video, with the only thought being, EA Motive, you have my full support for every single Dead Space game here on forward. You can make anything you want. You could make Dead Space of any kind, and I'd probably play it. You clearly know what you're doing in regards to design of something like this. They clearly knew.
Or Golden Sun, if they did a remake of Golden Sun, and like again full 3D, you know, etc.
They tried to reboot that series.
Yeah, and, no, I mean, Dark Dawn was just not good. Like,
and they said, we tried. Goodbye. They just waved goodbye. We're done. We tried. Goodbye. Was Golden Sun Square? I don't remember what Golden Sun was.
No, Camelot's the name of the studio, but it was Nintendo. Like I think
it was a Nintendo.
Nintendo published.
Nintendo publisher. Okay. Yeah, Nintendo said goodbye.
Camelot just does the Mario sports games now. So
that's the punishment. Like you're punished for failing us. You get to do Mario Tennis now, and they're like, damn it.
But
where's our Mario Golf game? Can we try doing Golden Sun again? No. Where's my Mario Golf? You're punished. That's purgatory. It's like your game didn't work out too well, huh? No. Well, you're still under contract with us, and you clearly want to make some. You clearly want to keep your job, so we're thinking of having a Mario basketball game come out. That's purgatory. Like that's it.
Yep.
You're done. Once you hear Mario Sport, you're done.